Greetings, community. It's Kevin of Enchping Comics, and the monthly pre-order arrived. So, I have to say the orders getting a little less, which is pretty cool. The idea is that bring it within manageable affordability and readability. Overall, that's the goal. It's just buy what I like and what I want to read. Hey, look, Crucis, appreciate you being here, buddy, man. As always. It is a rainy day, so I am reading, gonna watch a little Formula One, log in the books, and hot chocolate. Mm. Yeesh. Heavy on the chocolate. All right, let's jump right into it. We're gonna start it off with Art Brute and issue number 4. This has been a thoroughly enjoyable ride. As far as the real uniqueness about the story, I can't compare it to anything else. It's pretty unique. It's a great story. It's uniquely told in the sense it's not as normal horror and gore as you would normally associate with the writer and what he normally does with like Ice Cream Man. So it's been a really cool variation of his writing. So I've been appreciating every time it comes out. Issue number 11 of the Image Anthology. This has been a good bang for the buck because we've been getting a lot of different stories and, in a rather thick book. It's not cheap, but hey, when it comes down to it, you're getting a bunch of stories. Dead Mall, issue number 4. I think this finishes it out. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 issues, though it's been a pretty wild and suspenseful ride thus far. These kids inside this mall got way more than they bargained for. Frank Miller, Ronin. This is the second series, and I believe this is issue number 2, which it is. And I did not read the first series, though. Now that I read even just issue number 1 of the second series, definitely want to get into it. Hulk, issue number 13. This has just been the most awesomest of a ride. I never really was a huge fan of Hulk. At the same point, it was something I was always, liked as a kid. So it was something I wanted to kind of jump into. Being that Case was writing Venom story, and I was digging it at the time. It's like, give this a try. And now that, everyone else is having a shot at it, like Otley, what the hell? I'm sticking with it because it's been a good ride. Whoever outlined the initial story did a really good job, and that's what I've been appreciating. Kind of got heavy on the actual variation of it. But hey, don't hate me because I love beautiful covers. And from there, we're going to cruise over to a weird name, which is White Savior. This has been a really awesome ride. Though I had already been previewed to the first 2 issues via an email by Christy Shin about 2.5 years ago. I'm dying to get an issue number 3 because this is a very unique story, and it's nothing what you might think. You have to get into it, and you're going to laugh your ass off. Red Goblin, issue number 2. I'm digging these goblin stories. It doesn't matter what color they come in. I've been digging them. Red, blue, gold, issue number 5. I've been loving them all. Keep bringing them in. I don't care the color. I'll keep reading them because the stories have been solid. Nocturna, issue number 12. Speaking of solid stories, Snyder's killing it. I never realized how much a Snyder fan I really am until I realized how many books I've been buying. So issue number 12 is really high on my anticipated read. I can't wait to jump into that thing. Thor 31. This has been another wild ride. It doesn't matter who's been writing it. It's the overall outlining for the book has been solid. So for me, I've been enjoying it. Definitely had to get one of the homages. All right, now we're going to cruise over to the Amazing Spider-Man area. And I got issue 20 with the variant. And then, like I said, I'm a little behind, or I should say, I'm a little behind. This is 21 with a variant. Which obviously you got to admit this is a must, right? Right? I mean, right? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping in that. Thank you for popping in, K-pop. Appreciate you. Just going through the monthly pre-order. This is a blue book, issue number 1. Didn't realize that Tanyan was in town Wednesday. It looks like I'm gonna have to start following a few more areas in my area. That sounds funny, but yeah, I guess Close Encounters was playing with a Project Blue Book thing, and Tanya was there, and it was just I just missed a good opportunity to hang out with some cool people. The Boogeyman issue number was that 6. This has been a really cool ride. The whole Boogeyman lore that's being told in this story is really, really well told to where you get pretty immersed inside the story. I'm a huge Emma Clark fan. And now that she's doing this Pandora's thing, which is issue number 2 here, and then an issue number 3 here, I am so looking forward to get into. Emma was writing Inkblot, and I remember when she first launched it, my son and I interviewed her on 1-2 Comic Talk way back when. And she was such a pleasure to have on. She's so bubbly and so energetic that it does translate to her art and her storytelling, and it's just so cool to read. Moving over from that, we're going to go ahead and talk about Miles Morales. This is a variant right there with issue number 4, and then here's your cover A. This has been probably, in my opinion, one of the most solid Spider-Man stories that's out in the past 2 years. Yes, this is only issue number 4, but you even go back to the original, 30, was that 4 or whatever? So, or I guess that would be like now 4 years. It's been great. I've been liking the last 2 years. That's how I can really speak for. Little Monsters, issue number 11. There's another one of my opinions right here. This is the most solid vampire story out there. It tugs on every single heartstring. It goes through emotions and places of the heart and mind that few books do. And it's just been very well told. And the art is by no means any less best. It's just as awesome. Local Man, issue number 1. This is a Seeley Fleeks book. I can't wait to get into that thing. I'm a sucker for the old 90s stuff. I am old 90s stuff. Junkyard Joe, issue number 5. I was just reading issue number 4. I only got halfway through it before I had to do a show with my son on 1-2 Comic Talk. And this is another one that tugs on all the heartstrings and very well written, very well told, very well depicted. And the art is, again, just solid. You know what? I found myself really slowing down on that book because I let it sink in to the point that it really affects me. And few books do that. This is some 8-bit, 16? 8-bit goodness. 8-bit. Of Power Rangers TMNT issue number 3. Here's a Eastman variant, which I believe is a cover B, and then here's your cover A. Got a little crazy. Why? Because so am I. Moving over from that, which I really dig, so far. Went through the whole issue series of issues 1 through 5 of the first series, and not only loved it, but the interaction between the two, I so look forward to this happening. So now that they drew in a second volume and that now issue number 3 is coming out, I don't favor how I read my pile. I just go through it. At the same point, I always hope that certain books are next underneath. It's a little game I play with myself, but I'm hoping this lands on the top of the pile somewhere. Speaking of which, I hope this lands on the top of the pile somewhere. Last Ronin, Lost Years, issue number 2. Issue number 1 was really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing this whole next gen move on. So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of which, Barbaric issue number 2. This is Hell to Pay, and what's happening from this series is it's splintering out in all kinds of new books from the Barbaric realm, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and it's going to kill me now that my one book went into like 4. Philadelphia, this is another wonderful vampire story. What I really enjoy about this is how it interweaves into American history. And Barnes and Alexander have a long history together to where it translates in the storytelling of the book. And I really appreciate how the book is not only written, but how it translates to the reader. Plus, issue number 4. Wagner's killing it. You know, he played with, what was that, plastic, which I got to get. And then we had vinyl, which was thoroughly one of my favorites at the time. And now plush, which is no less a psycho thriller of its own. Wagner tells some pretty sick and bitchin' stories. Speaking of which, Draculina issue number 1 and issue number 2. This whole Blood Simple thing is basically a volume 2 of Draculina, and I really like. This was one of my first introductions to the whole Dynamite universe with Draculina, so I really liked how the story was told. I never really read any of the Vampirella stuff. I'm still trying to keep my, how should I say, my purchases a little less. At the same point, I want to broaden even the spectrum in which I feel my spectrum is as large as it is, even wider. So for me, that was where I went, and damn, I'm hooked. Speaking of being hooked on the story, Strange Academy, issue number 4 with a cover B and a cover A. Now, the problem with this is that's going to be ending in 2 more issues. Now, when this originally launched, I and Kai was fortunate enough to, prior the launch of actually the series about 6 months prior, 5 months prior, Kai and I had the luxury to be able to hang out with Scotty Young at a con event for a long time. I got to speak to him about this. And when we were hearing about the whole idea behind the whole project, you know, I was thoroughly buying in. I'm just bummed that it's under its own title going to basically evaporate. However, we all know that they're going to intertwine themselves into the Marvel universe. I would just like to see some type of, I don't know, I would like to see them together. I'm hoping some type of super force comes out of it and a new team, I guess, but I was never into team books. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I can't believe already it's not in 3 months away and I'm already getting sad. Here we go with Spider-Gwen, Shadow Clones, issue number 1. I love the whole blank variants, and when you give me the pink ones, especially when they're associated with a woman, I'm a sucker. I usually buy more than one, but I had some self-restraint. And a cover A. I'm looking forward to getting in that. I like female-led characters. I'm a sucker for them. Sick and Twisted is the only thing I could say was being written by Ron V. Now, another bittersweet story is the fact that, you know, he keeps writing these killer stories that I thoroughly enjoy. The problem is he's backing off on a lot because he's going to get a lot busier doing something else. I don't know what it is. You know, hopefully it's something in the movie industry because I'd like to see what he can do. Artist Elite issue I think it's an issue number 6. Come on, tell me 6. I am so blind. Issue number 6. I buy the A, B, and D covers of all these. Unfortunately, they did not ship me one of them. I couldn't tell you which one. All I can do is show you 3 of the 4 I usually normally order. And what I love about these things is they give me a bunch of stories. What I'm looking forward to from Artist Elite is standalone stories. Something that I can buy one single book and it's 32 pages of it. Dudley Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 5. We get a new character, and this story I've already read. This was thoroughly enjoyable. This really is. And this new character, I look forward to seeing hopefully more into down the road in the Marvel universe. Look forward to some type of. I could actually see Taboo because he's already done Werewolf by Night, and now a spider person. I don't want to ruin it for you. And then I would like to see him actually write a book where he's bringing all these characters that he's been creating together. Ghost Rider, issue number 12. Speaking of kind of new character stuff, I mean, he's been dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. So this to me exemplifies what I really like about a good Ghost Rider story. So I've been really enjoying every month that it's been coming out. Hollow Eve, this is a great new character. How she takes upon and assumes the role of the mask that she wears is pretty cool. I've been enjoying the whole Spider-Verse stuff that with Ben Riley and all that. I really thought it was cool. Speaking of cool, Venom, can't go wrong with issue number 17. Why? It's actually one of my favorite numbers. I'm liking this whole. I've been liking how it's a very unique story. It's unlike any Venom story ever told. So I've been liking how it's been written because of that in it and of itself. It's delving into an aspect of Venom that we've not seen before. Some are hating it. I'm loving it. So, I mean, love it, hate it. It's definitely different. Clear, speaking of different, is the shiny one. It's a story that is in a time where you can basically perceive reality in the way that you want. Kind of like no different now, but through technology, implants and stuff, I believe. And this one guy doesn't want to buy into it, so that's what that story's into. Spider-Man into Spider-Verse issue number 6. This story's getting heavy, and I've been thoroughly enjoying every issue of it. I'm liking how it's pretty 3 issues deep into it. How the new Rapnuck or whatever character, and then how Peter interact, and then now what ends up happening with Peter and how that's all working out. It's been pretty cool. Pretty cool. Flesh-eating cheerleaders from outer space, issue number 5. This is exactly what it says. It really is. How this needs to be a movie. Really, it does. It looks like everything. It really exemplifies everything that happened in the 80s as far as some of the horror movies at the time. And the fact that it's in a comic book just kind of takes me back. I'm really that old. Punchline, Gotham Game. What I'm really enjoying about this character is she is a standalone character. She's not riding on the coattails of anyone. You would think that, oh, no, she's just another knockoff Joker-style character or Harley. No. She is her own thing, and it's just, I really enjoy I really have been digging this whole series so far. Speaking of which, Forever Forward issue number 5, this finishes out the whole story right here. And the idea behind unique technology in the future to go back to the past and is pretty unique. And this is issue number 5 finishing out that story. So I'm looking forward to go ahead and jumping into that. Speaking of which, ending a story, issue number 3. This was my first delve into a Zetascope style story. So it was Oz Return of the Wicked Witch, issue number 1 through 3 was, I guess, like the 3rd volume of a series, but it's a standalone story. So I've been enjoying it. Berserker, issue number 12. That is the cover D, and this is the cover A, and this finishes out the series. I was told that the series ends in a way that I will enjoy, so I'm looking forward to jumping into that because so far for me, it's been delving into a lot of Eastern philosophy. It's been talking about a lot of Art of War style stuff, so it's been really delving in some of the aspects of training stuff that I used to do when I was a kid. So when I've been reading it, I'm like, oh, I know where that's from, and oh, that's Datsu, and I've been pointing out all kinds of things. So it's been enjoyable for me because I've been getting some of the references that to some maybe see so subtle that they may not have gotten, and for me, I've been able to just point out certain things. So it's been kind of like a, what do they call that, Easter egg hunt for me. Nightcrawlers issue number 2. I just read issue number 1. And I'm not following the whole Krakoa thing. So I have to admit, it was somewhat a struggle for me to really understand exactly what I was reading. It is a standalone story. I get that. Maybe because I'm not really understanding these characters. That's why I was lost. Well, I just did. I'm going backwards. Don't you want to see these things over again? Just checking to make sure you're paying attention. Just checking. Batman Deadly Duo. This has been a very well written story by Silvestri that I've been enjoying. The fact that Joker and Batman have to get together and Joker's doing all the stuff that Batman just can't do has been driving Batman up the freaking wall. Cherish. I just read. I thought I had. No. I was just reading one of these issues, and the fact that this individual has gone through what she did is pretty. It's very disheartening. So the whole time you're cheering on a lot of stuff that's going on, and then you find yourself, I can't believe how sick I've become. You're cheering on some pretty sick stuff. Black Sun issue number 3. These poor kids. I feel really bad for them, but I say snuff them all out. Oh my God, I can't believe what they want to do with the planet. Batman, this is a facsimile. A little spec thing. The white cover is the highly sought after. I'm getting power spikes, I think. And I'm looking forward to jumping in the story. I could never afford the original, so I could afford the replica. Facsimiles are my thing. Monkey Prince, issue number 12. Cover B, cover A. I think this is probably my favorite DC book in the past year and a half. I'm looking forward to jumping into it, and Monkey Prince is probably forever going to be one of my favorite characters in the DC universe. The Joker, the man who stopped laughing. What I really enjoy about this book is the whole time there's jokes that's being read throughout the story. So you're reading a story, but you're reading jokes that are kind of almost like monologuing throughout the whole book, and it's I found myself laughing out loud. I can't help myself. Silver Surfer issue number 1, second print, and then we get over to this is cool. Silver Surfer issue number 2, cover B, and then we got kind of a couple of the cover A's. Yo! You have no idea how much I appreciate you being here. Same with you, buddy. Ben, how's it go? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We're almost at the end. I get such a huge order that I really try to go through them now. Mary Jane and Black Cat. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of female-led characters. And this, you have to admit, is a pretty damn cool cover. Look at all these kitties. Imagine trying to wrangle all these cats in one place. Seriously. And then Gargoyles issue number 3. This brings me right back to the 90s. This really needs to be a cartoon again. Seriously. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World is such a beautiful story. In a chaotic time, in a post-apocalyptic world, this is probably one of the most beautifully written love stories presently in comics, in my opinion. Seriously. Highly recommend that book. Then we get the Darkwing Duck, issue number 2. Read it, loved it. Once you actually read issue number 2, a reason why you see all these ducks, it makes total amount of sense. I was cracking up, and I almost want to go out and get a rubber ducky and have it behind me now. I think they're cheap now. I almost kind of want one. Speaking of trippy, I'm sure that was a strange comment. Is Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise? Is this 4? Yep. I think it might be a 5-issue mini. Anyways, this is a trippy ride. This is total psychedelic. It's so wild. It's so weird. And I so much enjoy it. You just got to be in the right head and mind frame to be absorbing the surrealness behind it. Bloodline. This is where she meets Dad, and it's been pretty cool. I actually read it, loved it. I can't get enough of it. Bloodline is now one of my new favorite vampire killers. Seriously, she is so cool. You know, if they're not going to publish any Blade stuff, I might as well just go ahead and take what I can get with, you know, the daughter. And then the issue number 1 with the second printing. Not 1, but 2. I don't know about you, but I had to. Pretty cool, huh? But hey, I have to admit, that's it. I appreciate everybody coming by, and that's it for me. Entropy. You guys stay well, and I'll be talking to you soon.